This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com, and if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Taurus and Taurus rising. Welcome to your horoscope for the full lunar eclipse in Taurus, happening at 2 minutes past 10 p.m. if you're in the southern hemisphere with me on the 8th of November. I have been with you and I've been thinking so much about you, Taurus. This is going to be a wonderful moment of clarity. That's how I think what we can work with this eclipse. How did your 7th house go? How did you feel the energies of the shifting sands in your house of relationship? Were there things that cropped up? Were there conversations to be had? Was there a sense of forward movement, a progress? I hope so. I've got a couple of dates to give you, Taurus. I want you to think gently about November 19th of 2021. I want you to think about April 30th-ish of this year, because those two dates were the last eclipses in Taurus that we had, again affecting your first house where you find a sense of soul, you know, at that deeper level, like what it is you might be here for in this life and what motivates you, what sort of drives you to move forward. I can see that. I'm going to talk about the astrology really quickly. The moon is in an exact conjunction with Uranus this time. So we know that Uranus, the rebel, the revolutionary, has been in your first house, been in Taurus for some time now. This lunation I see as a spotlight on that activity, and perhaps there might be some emotional triggers there as well because it's a full moon eclipsing. This lunation is also in a square with Saturn. Now that we've had Uranus-Saturn squares before, the exact ones were quite remarkable. This one's a couple of degrees off, so Saturn's at 18 degrees in Aquarius. Still, they're stationed direct, so Saturn's moving forward. The boundary, the restriction that we've been discussing in a lot of these readings is back and moving on, moving up, moving forward. So in your most public self, how you're most publicly perceived, talk to me about the boundaries there or the restriction. You know, either way, if boundaries are really healthy, restriction is a little bit more difficult. So is there a part of you, or there is a way that you're perceived, a way that your most public face? I wonder if there's going to be some sense, some push and pull between your essence, your relationships, and how you're publicly viewed or perceived. That's not where the eclipse is happening. Remember, this is in the first, so this is going to be a moment for self-actualization, self-pride, self-realization. That's all going to be happening for you on the 8th, Taurus. But there's that square that I'm looking at, you know, so I just wanted to throw that in there because I think it might be interesting. I watched the whole of Angeline in the last 2 weeks, and I wasn't going to bring her into the room. I was subtly doing it with my pink behind me. But just looking at your chart, Taurus, there's a really nice sentiment that I gleaned from that program and also from this configuration that I can see here. You have the right to project or put forward a public version of yourself. And in regard to, I guess, maybe less intimate relationships, that's where it stays. That's who you are. If you say that's who you are, then that's who you are. Coming back to the first as well, there's an integrity there, and I really see it bouncing off back and forth. It's almost as if I have this sort of boundary, as Angeline sort of saying to me, you are who you are. Who you tell me you are is that. If that is not using too many words. I've got the Wheel of Fortune on the back of the deck kind of staring at me too, and it's sort of giving me this like ticka, 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 ticka moment. We're at the beginning of something really, really profound for you. In terms of eclipses, this is the third. So perhaps we're like nearing the end of this process of revelation. But I think that you're being encouraged in this reading to, obviously it's an eclipse, so you don't have to do anything. It's going to happen. It's going to come to you. It's going to be offered in some form. But there's something about your soul purpose. There's something about your essence. There's something about the truth of your being as you see it that is coming back into an activation. And perhaps there has been maybe some restrictions in your most public self. There's been things that you've not felt you've been able to put forward or able to bring into your public perception just yet, because you've needed time for them to grow and to kind of expand in your private soul area first, and maybe in your relationships too. Maybe this has been a conversation, and this is. I mean, I wish I could. I've got cards and everything on the desk, so I can't hold it up for you. But there's a real moment of like pressure. So it's like there's like a boundary where you're publicly perceived, activation and revolution in your soul purpose, and the sun is in your relationship zone, so it's beaming, it's shining a lot of light onto both of these things. Maybe you've been in relationship with folks that have been providing you some support with some sort of metamorphosis or some kind of like reckoning. I see this here. I've got that in your intuitive tarot. I got the Hanged One in the center, so that is stillness and enlightenment. Remember, it's not bondage. It's not captivity. It's deep meditation. It's letting it come, letting everything go. And there's that golden light around their head, receiving it all. And then either side of the Hanged One, I've got the Queen of Wands and I've got the Queen of Cups. So I look at this as support. These two queens in your corner, one's passion, one's emotion. Yeah? They're working hand in hand. And I almost feel that there's such an encouragement here. And I see I've got my Empress out for all the Taurus energy. But it's like these two queens have been either there to listen for you, or they've been rallying around you, protecting you in some way. I really feel it, in order for you in your moment of deep meditation to rise as the Empress, to reclaim that energy for yourself. I don't know if I'm talking to a bunch of Empresses that perhaps have put their crown down for a while, or have dissociated from that idea of themselves. Perhaps there's been something out of alignment. But we got to remember that the luminaries, the planets, everything, they're all working for us. They're all working to help us kind of strike that chord of best potential. We need you to be the Empress, Taurus, in whatever way that comes to you, in whatever style, color, gender, whatever the Empress energy means for you. That's something that you can claim as your own, as a Taurus sun, as a Taurus rising, doesn't matter. But there's something in this kind of tension. There's definitely a standoff. We can look at this sun and the moon. It's what It's naturally what happens at a full moon, but there's something of it's like a face-off, and with that eclipse too, so that the Earth's getting in the way, kind of breaking up those two for a moment, breaking that flow of light, that your relationship zone is kind of shining and showing in your essence. And the Saturn's energy, the restriction in your 10th house, in your most public self, I feel that that's the one to pop at this eclipse. It might do. It might do. Who are these queens, Taurus? Tell me who they are. Write me in a little comment down the bottom. But I've got the Queen of Cups and I've got the Queen of Wands. So I've got fire and water right here. I've got magic. I've got beauty and confidence and vibrancy. And I've got emotional availability. And I've got empathy and kindness here as well. I feel that these two energies are really, they're in your corner, Taurus. Whatever's coming to you at the moment as I'm describing this. And hey, look, it might, no, I'm not going to edit myself. It's going to be massive. You're going to love it. You're in tune with the planetary energies, so that's something to be proud of. That's something to revel in. You're a magical, magical creature, Taurus. And I can definitely see how difficult it has perhaps been for some time now. And with this kind of face off in the relationship zone, it can be uncomfortable. And the kind of power outages too, it's sort of I wonder if there's been a sense of you if perhaps, relationships have just dropped off, just shedded in the last maybe, 12, 18 months. And you've had to kind of reassemble, and the person that you are now, the Empress that you are becoming, needs space to unfurl, Whoever you're hanging out with now, whoever you've been talking to or whatever, you're in really great support and beautiful company here, and I really like them both. Fire signs, water signs, think of staying up all night and talking to your girlfriends on the phone about, the metamorphosis that you've been going through, how you've been sort of feeling completely unlike yourself, but also completely yourself, having more in common perhaps with your essence than you have in a very, very long time. That's a symptom of enlightenment. And who else has been encouraging you to do so? Who else has been yes, I see it written all over your face. This is you. Because there's a wand here as well, Queen of Fire, Queen of Wands. Who's been doing some spell work with you over this magical bit of time? Who can you... I tell you what, because the moon is at the 6 of Pentacles, right? I think that it'd be a really, really encouraging, gorgeous thing for you, Taurus, to say thank you to these queens. The Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups. You say thank you to them, all right? Allow the essential shedding to occur. That's what happens at a full lunar eclipse. It's going to come in some form or another. Something's going to pop away in order for you to grow and to re-establish yourself. But this is 16 degrees of Taurus. This is where this lunation's happening. Say thank you. If it's been a sort of silent support, or if it's been a kind of, I don't know what I'd do without you. You don't hear. Look, I think be direct and say, I've got your back, girls, or whoever, I've got your back, folks. Whenever you need me, I'm going to be there for you, because you've just helped me so much through this, and it's been so important and so valuable, and I really appreciate your interest and your care, and thank you for sticking by me, because it's been a road that I've gone down, but I am ascending. I am emerging. The Empress is back within me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, gosh, I hope so, Taurus. It's going to be good. Now, remember, we don't fright. We're not frightened of eclipses. We're going to chill. We're going to let it happen. Brand new cycle. Do look forward to the reprieve. Eclipse season can be really intense. I think that I'm actually I'm still sort of in that headspace, really. I had a full-on solar eclipse in Scorpio. Boy, did I. I'm talking to all of my brand new subscribers on my list. Hey, thank you for being here. Like, that was just a deluge of new interest in my work. Scorpio's in my 9th house, so you can see how that magic happens. The 9th house of publishing and philosophy and spirituality. So in that way, that space was eclipsed for me. Got a lot to thank Jennifer for as well, from Familiar Witch Tarot. She was actually has proved to me that magic works. And I've told her so. So maybe that's a nice way to close out this reading, Taurus. Tell the folks that have been lifting you up, and and let them rest assured that when they need it, you're going to lift them up as well. All right, that's your reading, Taurus. Big, big love. You've got this. It's, number 3 in a round of 4. So we've been here before. This is activation, actualization. You're going to be just fine. Head to umoruby.com, go to the readings page and book yourself a birth chart reading with me. I've been having the best time with it, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to share in this way and to allow folks to really kind of activate themselves with a different language perhaps they might not be used to yet. So do head over to the readings page at umoruby.com, book your birth chart, and I will speak to you one-on-one. But I will be back here on YouTube with the horoscope for the new moon in Sagittarius. That's happening in 2 weeks. So until then, I love you heaps, and I'll speak to you later. Bye, Taurus. Bye.